It wasn't even don't think, it was more the absolutes, like it will never be a blessing.
The lady came to the kitchen and asked you, why is it that everybody is walking around on eggshells? Older people are really good at hiding this, but kids, babies, don't know how to hide it. And the kids will be like, and remember, I'm new from Africa. These kids have blue eyes, gray eyes, green eyes. So those colors in their eyes kind of like puts oomph in their stare.
One family, one spark, one child for our plan, for our plan. We go together hand in hand. For our plan, for our plan. Love like that can move the land. Through every storm, through every plan. We shine, we rise. For our plan, for our plan, for our plan.
My name is Marcellus, my wife's name is Charity, and our little son's name is Dos. Welcome to the Far Out Clan. Welcome again for another video.
Yeah,
Are you ready for this?
sure. What are we going to talk about today?
So in this video we're going to talk about the Mennonites' perspective, or how they view interracial or cross-cultural relationship, what we have. Yeah.
Okay.
And this was a question by one of our viewer when we still had comments, and I felt it merit a video,
Okay.
and so we're doing it. It's very hard to actually know what people as a collective think. For me, being an outsider, because I wasn't raised a Mennonite, I
Right.
don't know what parents teach their kids. I don't know if they say, you know what, do you see that? Never, I don't want to see you doing that again. Or I don't know if you say, oh, if they say, oh, that is so beautiful. It would be nice if all of you go out there, go out ye and spread your seeds. Okay? I don't know, okay? So, I wanted us to answer it collectively. You're going to give us your perspective from a Mennonite,
Okay.
American, because I do understand Mennonite culture is a culture inside a bigger American culture.
It
okay?
is, yeah.
And I'm going to give my perspective as an outsider.
Okay.
Okay, so as I said, it's very difficult to know. So I'm going to be using instances in my experiences to gauge, to try and arrive at a conclusion, okay?
Okay.
So I might be wrong, I might be totally wrong, and I might be totally wrong.
Okay.
Or right.
Right.
Okay, so, and again, this video has the propensity to be sensitive,
Yeah.
because there's tendency for people to believe that I'm going to victimize myself, I will cry foul or racism, which is, I'm not going to do that, okay? It's just I'm trying my best to explain my experiences, and you know, it's two cultures merging, so of course you're going to have, it's two people from different civilizations coming together, you're going to have a shock, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to try to mitigate that as best as we could, okay? So I feel you should start.
Well, I could, except I feel like your experiences when you came, like the feelings that you had
Yeah.
from entering in from a different country, a different culture into a Mennonite circle is maybe more helpful
Yeah.
to give us kind of a base of where to go from. So why don't you talk a little bit about how it felt, because people do make other people feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and just give us your perspective of how it felt to you coming into this community as an outside person.
Okay, and yeah, let's go. Instances. I have 3 instances that I was thinking of when I was thinking of making this video.
Okay.
And that, the first instance is right before I came to the United States. There's a YouTuber, a famous YouTuber that you people know about, married to a Kenyan. I'm not going to mention names. but they actually did a story on Instagram that they only let you see and not anybody
Well,
else
apparently,
see.
do we know that for sure? I mean, like,
Because you saw it.
Yeah,
you
I did see it.
screenshot it and sent it
but
to
I
me.
don't mean maybe she
Uh,
sent it to other people. I hope
that's
not.
what
I
she-
would rather.
a few months ago she did she messaged you on a voicemail on a voice note on Instagram and said she was really sorry, mature. She did it. That's what she told you, like,
okay.
you're the only person who saw it, nobody saw
Okay.
it, okay?
Yeah.
So she ranted on an Instagram story, and we do not know each other. Like, oh, Kenyan men are like this and this and this, and she actually did not even say she thinks. She just said he's a fraudster. Like she was really stern about it. Okay. But anyway, so that was the first prism, the prism view that I got of Mennonite Amish.
Well, and I
person
might add in
perspective.
somebody else that you were friends with who was ex-Mennonite also made you believe that Mennonites were a
It's
cult,
cultic.
that were
and
a
I think
cultish.
the two people, because I interacted with the two people, we don't really know each other, and the two people are the ones that kind of like, I think they're both married to Kenyan men, and
Oh,
despite
yeah, they
them
are.
saying their men are the best,
Yeah.
I don't know why they would go out and presume that other men are terrible.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
either. I'm not sure really either.
So that was the first prism that I got,
Yeah.
view that I got of how people look at this. I mean, it seems people are really sensitive about like African men, like in the Mennonite Amish
Yeah.
culture, and maybe American culture. I don't know. So, but then we're gonna understand this better. I'm building up this case slowly. Okay. We forgot to charge our microphone. That's why I keep on looking at it to see if it's still on. The second instance is when we were still talking. Had you come visit me before, like the church? The ministers wrote
we
you
had
a letter?
visited the one time with my brother.
So they wrote you a letter saying that they do not endorse this, that they don't see anything good coming out of
Yeah.
this. They actually thought, they said they don't think it would either
It
bring
wasn't
in,
even don't think. It was more the absolutes, like it will never be a
be
blessing.
a blessing to
So, yeah.
And
I want to be careful with that because,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll
they're just
I'll
humans. but-
explain and come
You
to
will,
a
yeah.
conclusion again. No victimization, just experiences, and I think I'm gonna do justice to in this video. And these are people drawing conclusion about a person they've never met, they've never spoken
Yeah.
to, they've never seen. They are judging a person based on the worst they've heard about a culture, a society, or a civilization.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the danger of that most, and it's not any humans are not immune to this. That
No.
is the danger of people in regardless of culture or civilization. Then the third instance was, so when I came here, I remember there was like a couple that actually came to the Mennonite church, okay, and they said they were bringing mail to the church. I mean, the wife had gotten a job.
Yeah.
Was it even a wife, a fiance?
I think she was the girlfriend at that point.
She had gotten a job and she was posted in the town that our church is. Okay?
You're right.
So they came to visit the church because they'll be delivering mail to most of these people in church. And I think they were also interesting because Mennonite culture is kind of like a small culture in the US, and people kind of like us are intrigued about
Yeah,
it. So
they
they
are.
wanted to find out. And we got invited to 2 lunch Sundays, okay, with this couple. I'll call them a couple. to refer
Yes.
to two.
Yeah, yeah.
And On the second invitation, I remember you were out helping the women in the kitchen, and the lady came to the kitchen and asked you, why is it that everybody is walking around on eggshells around your topic? And I was like, what does eggshell mean?
Yeah.
So, right until recently, I thought the eggshell phrase meant negative things because I was new. I was seeing
yeah.
how people look at me, and to be honest, I was the only black person in our church, right?
Yeah.
And the older people are really good at hiding this because Mennonites are good people, so they wouldn't put it to your face whatever they're feeling. But kids, babies, don't know how to hide it. So in church, I'll walk in church or wherever we'll be meeting with the Mennonites in a Mennonite congregation or setting, and the kids will be like, and remember, I'm new from Africa. These kids have blue eyes, gray eyes, green eyes. So those colors in their eyes kind of like puts oomph in their stare, okay? And you don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And the human mind has a propensity for negativity, okay? So you're thinking, oh man, is it because I'm black? Is it because of this? So you tend to overthink, and mostly in the negative sense. Anyway, where was I? So I interpreted walking on eggshells to mean all sort of negative things. Without just recently, I was like, oh, probably the people did not know us, and they did not know what to say. And an
Yeah.
outsider just asks them a question. Okay, so the outsider will also draw their own conclusion. Okay. Aha. So those were the instances in my experience, some few of the instances that would inform what I'm going to say. And what I'm going to say is this. Mennonites, as compared to most Americans, correct me if I'm wrong, most of them are well-traveled and read.
I would
Because
say, yeah.
they've gone to missions as missionaries. They read books, they don't have televisions, they don't do lots. Social media is discouraged to a high degree, okay? So they read a lot. They tend to be more outgoing in terms of how they think
Yeah.
in connection to the world. But I feel because it's a culture within a greater American culture, and this is something I also discovered. I could be wrong. If you're an American, I do not mean harm. I do not mean to criticize or do anything. I think it's just factual. So there's labeling and stereotyping of black people in America, and of course, being from Africa and my skin tone, I'm black, right? And so I tend to think that, which Mennonites are not excluded, they also would be influenced by those labels and stereotyping, okay? So they tend to think, like from the instance of now the bishops writing something about me, okay?
Yeah.
The only answer I'd have for that is they stereotyped me because of the negative about that culture. And in a civilization, you will always have the good people, the bad people.
Yeah.
Okay? You will always have that. And the danger is, we as humans would always tend to stereotype a civilization or a culture based on the negative. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I see a Chinese person, if I don't know this Chinese person, I'll be like, oh, I don't like Chinese people. I once heard that from somebody, okay? I don't like Chinese people because they're like always jumpy and pushy, okay? And you don't know Chinese people because you've seen a terrible thing on the internet, social media, then you tend to think this person that you've met in real life would also behave like the person you saw on a movie or social media or a stereotype that you had. So I tend to think that, oh, I think I'm regurgitating myself. So I tend to think Mennonites are not immune to that phenomenon of stereotyping.
Yeah.
Okay? But the thing that I like about the Mennonite community is, and just to go back to the history of Mennonites. Mennonites came from different parts of Europe to America, fleeing persecution, religious persecution, and fleeing being drafted in the wars that were happening in Europe. And that informs why they don't have mustache, because I think, I might be wrong, I think somebody explained in Europe, if you join the military, you'll be allowed to have mustache alone. So I think they took off the mustache in protest, and a lot of other things. We'll be speaking about that in a different video, okay? So they believe that we are not of the kingdom of this earth, but of the kingdom of heaven. And that softens a lot of things when it comes to like two people interacting from different cultures, two people who look somehow differently, okay? Because they do not identify, hey, I'm an American, he's somebody else, and I'm defined by my country, and they're defined by their country, and we are different, okay? They don't think that to a high degree. Oh, you have individuals who think that, but we are humans. That's why going to church, like interacting with people and having a general atmosphere of positivity kind of like checks you and helps you. It's kind of like a guardrail, okay, to your morality. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this video, okay? I hope I'm not going on rabbit trails. He's kind of like distracting me, and he's also distracting you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just keep going. I think you're doing fine.
Yeah. So the instances that I had led me to believe that there was a general atmosphere of prejudice. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was new into this country. A lot of things are new, and I was headed towards that mentality. But then, remember when your mother got a heart attack?
Yes, that was
and
like,
we went to the
that was what, 2 months after we got married.
Exactly. So everybody kept on talking about like this Kenyan doctor. You need to meet this Kenyan doctor. He's the best Kenyan doctor. Everybody that I was meeting. So I met with this Kenyan doctor, and he asked me what is your experience so far, and I'm a pretty straightforward guy. So I told him, hey, you know what? I'm kind of like feeling there's prejudice everywhere because people looking at me differently. I mean, people, I don't know, all that kind of thing. And he told me he's actually been here for a very long time. He told me, hey, you know what? When you meet people from different cultures for the very first time, and they have never met with someone who looks like you, they wouldn't know how to handle that situation. Then they're out of their element,
Right.
and you in that moment in time might interpret that unnatural behavior as prejudice or a negative thing, okay? And yeah, and it's not always what they're thinking. What's happening with them is, oh man, I've never met this type of a person, how should I behave? And that makes them kind of like,
What should I
look
say that's
different.
not going
What
to
should I
offend
say?
him?
Yeah,
or
exactly. And
something like that.
you might interpret it differently. And just to give you a history of, and again, I don't want to personalize this, okay? I'm just trying to bring light into this topic based on my experience. Oregon, I believe until the 60s, black people had been banned from staying in this state. You could visit, but you can't stay in this state if you're a black person. So generally, it's not very common to find black people around Oregon. And you mentioned in Portland that there is quite an,
Well, there's more.
there's more people.
There's more,
but in rural places like
Yeah.
where we are, it's not easy to find black people. As I attribute the ban to that.
I would say
Okay.
that could be fair. Yeah.
So I'd want to tend to think most people haven't interacted with black people, or they have never, or if they have, it's not as much. Okay, then if they have interacted to them to a lesser degree, they have never really been, they don't know how to address the issue of interracial relationship.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I mean, I would say probably somebody.
Yeah.
Like for example, my mom.
Yeah.
We had a friend. His name was Bear,
Uh-huh.
and he was a family friend way before I was born.
Huh.
So my parents were. I mean, they've interacted with black people, but it's different if it's somebody who's coming into the Mennonite culture and wanting to marry their daughter.
Definitely, that's at a family level.
That's at a family level, and our church is kind of set up as a family.
Families.
And so then
Yeah.
it ends up being sort of that same thing. And I think that's maybe where the ministry's concern was
Yeah.
stemming from,
Yeah.
as at more of a family sort of level. Like,
Yeah.
oh, who is this?
Yeah, and before I
Why
forget,
is he trying to marry her?
yeah, before I forget, actually, and I can't speak for them. We also have in your family, in your in-laws family, one of your in-laws, somebody married from the guy from Ghana who married one of your in-laws families,
Yeah.
right? And actually, one of your niece told me that, or I think it's your niece or maybe your sister too. Like they're like, when it was found that she was dating a Ghanaian, like the mom freaked out. She was like, "Oh, call!" I don't want to mention them. She called the elderly, the oldest son, and was like, "Oh, blah blah blah." I mean, blah blah is the name of that person.
Yeah.
Oh, blah blah blah. Something terrible has happened. You need to come immediately. Okay, but now that has changed. Like everybody likes the guy from
Yeah.
Ghana. Okay, and I actually met the mom who was like freaking out, and she's really nice. She looked at me with like really with glaring eyes, like with adoration. Okay,
Yeah,
Because-
gleaming eyes, maybe.
gleaming eyes. Good, that's good. With adoration, because their perception changed, and their perception that they had, which was negative, was because they'd never interacted with a black person. The information they had about black people was maybe due to stereotypes. I mean, the stereotypes that they had about
Yeah.
black people. And I'd mentioned something about, there's a song called, I'm not exactly sure, but the artist, I don't know exactly sure the name of the song, I'll write it down. But the artist's name is Lucky Dube from South Africa. He's now led. He says, "The world knows your people as a nation of crooks. So take it upon yourself to teach the world about your people." Okay, and as I said, most people would tend to gravitate towards the negative aspects of a civilization society. Okay, so just fast forward very fast. Right now, people have changed because they've interacted with me. They know very well how I behave. I mean, they judge me with the contents of my character, Martin Luther, rather than the stereotypes that they had. And I'm talking because I don't really know what informed them about people like me, so I tend to just say stereotypes. Okay,
Yeah.
and to be fair, if you go to Kenya right now, there are many tribes. Okay,
Yeah.
so some people from the central part of Kenya, the Kikuyu, would have a very different culture than people from the western part, for example, Luo
Yeah.
of Kenya. So if a Luo goes to Kikuyu, I mean central part of Kenya, they'll stereotype him based on what they've been taught about the Luos. Okay, they tend to think he's like this, when he's actually not. He's just a normal person, same as the Kikuyus. Okay? I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's just when people don't like change.
No, not really.
Okay, but then when the change comes and they see, oh, the change is good, then they embrace it. Same as people, if all the things you've had is negative about people, some people, then if a person comes from that group of people, you tend to think they behave as those people. But then when you get to learn those people, then you change your approach towards them. So and again, we started this video by saying we are not really sure how people were thinking, but we can only infer from our experiences.
Yeah.
We don't really know if it's stereotypes or that, or it's just like the way they were behaving because they don't know how to address the situation. That just reminds me when I first came to, when I spoke first in church when I was still new. Oh, my name is Marcellus, and yeah, I'm from I'm from Kenya. I intend to, my charity is my wife, and
Well, yeah, you just announced the
blah,
first
blah,
Sunday
blah,
that we
blah.
got married.
Yeah,
so
because you're freaking out. You're freaking out because people were talking and they were like,
Well, I
"Oh,
would have
she got married."
rather they just knew this
Yeah.
is what happened rather than everybody like trying to figure it out. And people tend to be more. It's easier for people to ask somebody else than to ask the person themselves. Like, what actually did happen? Why
Yeah.
did you do this? sort of
Instead
thing.
of people, I mean, you get to feel the sense that people are talking around
Yeah.
you. So this is what happened. You was a member of a Mennonite church in Kansas.
Yeah.
And you were transferring your membership to
Yeah,
this
out
church
here.
in Oregon
Yeah.
because you had moved here. And you're not really a member in a nutshell, right?
No.
That was pending. And now this guy has come from Kenya, black guy, the only black guy in church, the only black guy, like you rarely see black people out here, and now he's announcing in church in good English. And and I say this because, you know, Michael,
My brother?
no,
Oh.
the other Michael in this church.
Yeah.
After that church, you're like, oh man, how is your English so good? Okay. Then I was like, oh, you mean you expected me to have terrible English? I did not say that, but that was my I still don't know if my English was good, but that morning I mean I thought what I was gonna say, and because I thought it, so I spoke better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I thought was like, oh, this guy, what I'm thinking right now is like, oh, this guy has the audacity to just announce this. Oh, when did she be married? Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, like, we married at the JP
I know.
and nobody knew except your immediate family because they had to come to be witnesses. And yeah, it was just so stuck. It stunned people. Okay.
Well, yeah, it was
Nobody
like really
expected it.
making a strong coloring stroke outside of the box, you know, just like scribbling outside the picture. Pretty good.
So, yeah, I guess I don't know if we've done justice to this video. I mean, and as I started, it's really hard to explain this, but what I could definitely for sure say is, number one, I could say the ministers really wanted the best for you.
Yeah.
And they did not know much about me.
No.
And to be fair, there's a stereotype of, I'd say, let me explain the stereotype of Nigerian scam, okay? I'm not saying that Nigerians are scammers. Again, we don't want to fall to the danger of a single story. So, there are people called Yahoo boys.
Yeah.
And Yahoo boys are kind of like people, guys who commit cyber crimes, and they're predominantly from Nigeria or Ghana, okay? So because of that terrible group of people have stereotyped Nigerians as scammers, okay? And
Chowder, no.
and
No.
and Remember the story that that I've told a couple of times, the guy who came here and found me replacing the board and said,
Yeah.
oh man, we were lied by televisions, okay? And he was like, how do you speak such good English? You speak better English than most people in America. And again, we are not blind to history, okay? Historical facts. We know that movies have been made in here before to stereotype black
Yeah.
people, okay? And that has crystallized. Right now, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be like a terrible guest, but it's historical
Yeah.
facts. I know people are sensitive, but I'm not, I'm just regurgitating historical facts, okay? And as I said, Mennonites are not immune, they're humans to such negative stuff. And I felt because of lack of information and human error, they did that. But later on, I mean, they are to me, I think about the ministers in this church. I've never met such good men.
Yeah.
I've never met such upright men who care. I've never been in a community and felt a sense of protection before. I've never been loved the way I've been loved in this community. I remember leaving Africa, people are like, oh, you're going to be so isolated, you're going to be so lonely. And I'm here, I've never been mentally stimulated by a society before.
Maybe you're opposite of lonely.
Okay? In fact, I'm
Overloved. No,
Overloved.
Not now you can't get overloved.
So, and I feel, yeah, that was an error, human error on their fact. And
I will give a positive nod to the
Yeah.
fact that,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes
Yeah.
people, once they've had their first impression, they
Yeah.
just stick with that.
yeah,
And I think one thing about
Yeah.
trying to live what God has called us to live, like
Yeah.
according to the Bible, and
yeah,
everyone is made in the image of God, I do think that people do desperately try to
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
their opinion.
yeah,
And I do think one huge key factor, which I said at the very beginning before you ever came,
yeah.
I said I'm not going to make a big deal of it. Time will tell.
Yeah,
And truly time does work in our favor, but often people are what? Are anxious to have it go faster, and
Have answers.
things are not moving, and there's
Yeah.
not answers, and things are not changing.
yeah,
But the thing is that I knew with time it would
Yeah.
be fine, and
Yep.
it is. A year and a half later, I don't think that you would have any of those feelings.
yeah. So, yeah, let's end this video. I feel
Yeah.
we've done justice
I
to
think
it.
so.
And I believe the person who asked this question was, I don't know the intention, but since they asked, is you gonna be judged according to the contents of your character, and it goes both ways, okay?
Yeah,
if
for
it's
sure.
a lady or man from the Mennonite
Yeah.
community, if it's a man from India, from Japan, from China. I've been to a number of Mennonite churches, and even here in Oregon, in Madras, I mean, I've seen people, very diverse people from
Yeah, we have
Asia, from
we have a man from Japan who goes to church in
Kansas. I've seen
so,
that in
you know,
Kansas.
I mean,
So people, no matter where you go, people are gonna judge you best on the content of your character. And what I'd say, and I can attest for sure, is that the Mennonite community want to live as consistent as possible to the
so.
teachings of the Bible, and they're pretty fair people. Hey, chowder! Hey, stop it! And they're pretty fair people, and they do
chowder.
they do
No.
believe that we are not of the kingdom of this world, and we are from the kingdom of heaven. So when you go to heaven, there's not going to be an American, there's not going to be a Japanese, there's not going to be an African, okay? It's going to be like the human race, okay?
Yeah.
So I hope that has shed light
Yeah.
into that topic, okay? And thank you so much for watching this video.
Yeah.
We're gonna go put baby, we have to put him to bed now. Yeah. I feel we've done justice to this video, and I felt I've talked too much.
That's
Did
okay.
I overtalk you? Did you want to say something?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. So see you in the next one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.